Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve. Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
We're going back over 80 years this hour to a show that has become one of your favorites, Jean Hersholdt starring as Dr. Christian. This was originally broadcast March 27, 1938, the story of Wendy and the Truth Pills. And listen very carefully, because Wendy should be a very familiar-sounding voice. See if you can figure out who it is, at least who I figured out who it is.
From Hollywood, California, we bring you Chapter 21 in the story of Paul Christian, the Doctor of River's End, starring Jean Hersholdt, famous Hollywood character actor in the title role, and presented every Sunday at this hour by the Cheesebro Manufacturing Company, owners of the trademark Vaseline. And now, starring Jean Hersholdt in the role of Dr. Paul Christian, we begin another chapter in the story of the Doctor of River's End. On this particular evening, Dr. Christian and his friend, the druggist, Roy Davis, are in the doctor's office having a game of checkers.
All right, and it's still my move. There you are. You give up?
Yes, I guess I'll have to. Well, that's 2 games apiece.
Now wait a minute. I won this game, you won the third.
That's right.
And I won the second and the first.
Are you sure, Roy? I thought I won the first.
All right, let's see here. No, I'm pretty certain I won the first.
All right, then. That's 3 for you and 1 for me. Got time for another?
Oh, sure, it's early yet. Not quite 9 o'clock. Yep, as long as I get back by 10 in time to close up the store.
Well, watch out for me this time, because I'm going to get revenge. Go ahead, it's your move.
Well, I think I'll try something a little different.
Mm-hmm.
Evening, Doctor. Hello, Mr. Davis.
Oh, good evening, Wendy.
Evening, Wendy.
Playing a little checkers?
Mm-hmm.
Played a mite of checkers myself at one time. Played for big stakes, too. A couple of $1,000 at a crack. Thought nothing of it.
Well, you don't say. Oh, my move, eh?
Yes, sirree. I was quite a gambling man in those days. Used to follow the horses.
Did you ever catch up with them?
I mean, I was a racetrack man. A jockey. I rode for old Colonel Witherspoon. Ever hear of him?
No. Let's see here.
Yes, sir. Colonel owned one of the fastest horses in the country. Never forget the time I went down to stables with the Colonel just before the race, and found him eating a bale of hay.
Who, the Colonel?
No, the horse. Well, when the Colonel walked into the stable, he started to cuss.
Who, the horse? That gives me the first king.
No, the Colonel. Because he couldn't run when he was full of hay.
Who, the Colonel?
No, the horse. Colonel Witherspoon wanted to scratch him.
What for?
Well, maybe he was the only one who knew where he itched. Oh, I'll just take that man.
I'm talking about a horse race. A horse race.
Oh.
So I says to the Colonel, I says, Colonel, I'll ride that horse in this race today, and I'll win. That's what I says.
Well, there's one in the king row for me.
Well, the nags line up. There's the starter's gun, and I'm off.
So I've always suspected.
We're at the quarter, and I'm a length behind.
Now, let's see.
At the half and a half a length.
If I move here...
At the 3/4, and I'm still gaining.
No, I guess I'll move this one.
Now we're in the home stretch, and I'm battling shoulder to shoulder with the favorite, Gray Day.
Gray Day?
Yes, sir. They called him Gray Day because he used to pull a milk wagon.
You were racing against a milk wagon horse?
Yep. Thundering down the home stretch. And then just 3 yards from the finish, Gray Day shot ahead.
And you lost, eh?
Nope. I hollered milk, and Gray Day stopped.
Wendy, why do you make up tall stories like that?
Oh, I don't know, Doctor. I get started and then just sort of keep going. It's a habit, I guess.
Well, you ought to break it. Can't your wife help you? Give you a little hint when you begin exaggerating so you can get back to the truth?
Well, just how do you mean, Dr. Christian?
Oh, for instance, when you start telling a tall story, have your wife cough.
Cough?
Yes, and that'll be a signal for you to, Well, to take it a little easy.
Say, are we going to finish this game?
Just a second, Mr. Davis. What I came in for was to pay Dr. Christian some money I owe him.
Oh, you can let that go to some other time. It isn't very much.
Nope, I'd better pay it now while I got the money.
Well, wait a minute. I'll have to look it up in the books and see how much you owe me.
How are things going, Windy?
Well, pretty good. Went to work last Monday in Clem Duke's stationery store.
Clem Dukes must find business pretty good to put on extra help.
Oh, I only work part-time. Go in the evening and sweep out.
That bill is $3.50, Wendy.
Yes, sir. Got it right here.
Now, if you need this for something else...
Now, that's all right, Dr. Christian. I've owed that bill for a spell, and I aim to pay it. Anyhow, I'm working now for Clem Dukes, janitor and night watchman.
Now, why would a little store like that need a night watchman?
Well, there's a lot of crooks around these days. You never can tell. They might take a notion to rob the place.
I can imagine where you'd be if you ever encountered any robbers. Home under the bed.
Is that so? Well, maybe you don't know it, Mr. Davis, but you're talking to one of the finest shots in the USA.
No. Wendy, where did you ever do any shooting?
Well, I've shot all over. Shot in Africa. I've shot at the North Pole.
Yeah?
Yes, sirree. One of the thrillingest experiences I ever had was at the North Pole. I was walking along, and all of a sudden I sees, square in front of me, a big polar bear.
Wendy,
Biggest bear you ever laid your eyes on. About 9 feet long. 6 feet high. And weighed about, weighed about a half a pound.
So you shot this bear, eh?
Well, yes and no. You see, the minute I saw the bear, I started to load my gun. It was an old muzzle loader. And then doggone if I didn't find I was out of bullets.
Uh-huh.
Well, sir, I was so dang scared that the perspiration popped out on my forehead like beads.
And then you woke up, Wendy?
No, sir. Well, the perspiration popped out on my forehead like beads. But the weather was so darn cold up there at the North Pole that the beads of perspiration froze as hard as bullets. So I grabbed a handful, shoved them in the muzzle of my gun, up and fired.
Now, wait a minute, Wendy, wait a minute. You can't tell me you shot that bear with bullets made of ice. Why, the explosion of the powder would be so hot that the ice would melt, turn into hot water.
Yep, that's exactly what happened, and the bear was scalded to death. Well, so long, Dr. Christian.
Goodbye, Wendy.
Night, Mr. Davis.
Good night. If Wendy Smith isn't the almightiest liar...
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't say Wendy is an ordinary liar.
No, a quite extraordinary liar.
Wendy is a romanticist.
Well, I don't see the difference.
Well, it's like this. Did you ever play Indian when you were a boy?
Sure, but I didn't...
And you got so interested in playing Indian that you almost believed you were an Indian? Well, that's Wendy's trouble. He gets all wrapped up in what he's talking about, and for the time being actually thinks it's true.
Just the same, I'd call him a liar.
And we all are that way to a degree. We are prone to believe what we want to believe, even when it isn't true. Sometimes we fool ourselves. Now, you said you won that first game of checkers.
Well, I did win it.
But if you think back carefully, that was the game where I cornered your last king and you tried
Why,
to...
say, that's right. Oh, say, I apologize. Now, you don't think that I was trying to...
Try to deceive me? Oh, no, of course not. You believed the game was yours.
Oh, I'm sorry. Now, why didn't you check up on me when I said that?
Oh, it wasn't worth arguing about. But you see, the point is this. Oh, hello, Clem.
Yes, say, has Wendy Smith been in here?
Yes. She was here just a few minutes ago. Came in to pay a bill.
Paid a bill? Paid it with money?
Yes. What's the matter, Clem?
What did Wendy say when he was in here?
I don't know. Did he say anything special, Roy?
No, except he said he was working for you, Clem, as a janitor and night watchman.
Night watchman?
I thought that was funny myself. But he had a long story about protecting your store against robbers.
It needs protection. Do you know what's happened? Wendy Smith has robbed my cash register of $22.
Yes? Oh, come in, Judy.
Clem Dukes is here.
Oh, tell him to come in. Any word yet from Wendy Smith?
No, but Jerry's still looking for him.
Wendy's probably going fishing. All right, have Clem come in.
Will you go in, Mr. Duke?
You want to see me, Dr. Christian?
Yes, sit down, Clem. I thought if you'd come here, it would be a little more private than if I came to the store. You see, I want to talk to you about Wendy Smith.
That no-account loafer? They ought to run him out of town.
I'm afraid that would be a little too strenuous for Wendy. They might walk him out of town, but I don't think he'd run.
He's never done an honest day's work or earned an honest nickel in his life. I take pity on him and give him a job, and he repays me by robbing me.
Now, how do you know Wendy took that money?
Well, who else could take it? Except for Mrs. Dukes and myself, he's the only one who has the key to the store. He comes in around 6 or 7 o'clock of an evening to sweep up.
Yeah, so he said.
Now, last night I was in a hurry to leave on account of lodge meeting, and I forgot to take the day's receipts out of the cash register. Didn't think of it till I was on my way home after lodge. Well, I stopped in the store, and the money was gone.
I still can't believe Wendy took it. He has his faults, I know, but he isn't a thief.
He took it all right. Any man who lies will steal. I should have thought of that before I hired him.
But I wanted to ask you, Clem. Do you intend to have him arrested?
Well, I haven't made up my mind. Anyway, I think he skipped out. So what would be the good of swearing out a warrant?
Clem, I hate to see Wendy get into any trouble. Of course, now, maybe he deserves it. I'll grant you that.
He certainly does.
When you start making trouble for a guilty person, you usually end up by hurting innocent people.
I don't see how.
Well, there's Wendy's wife. You know, she's a Murray, and the Murrays are pretty nice folks. She has a hard enough time as it is, without having her husband sent to jail.
It would be a blessing to get rid of him. Why Stella Murray ever married that bum like Wendy Smith is beyond me.
Well, I was thinking, if we could get hold of Wendy, we might get most of the money back, and if that would satisfy you, maybe you'd be willing to drop the whole thing.
Well,
Wendy can't have spent all of it. I'll see Mrs. Smith. If he has any money, he's turned it over to her.
Well, Dr. Christian, I'm not a hard man.
I know you're not, Clem.
And I don't want to cause any trouble. If Wendy will fess up and admit he's wronged me, I'm inclined to let it go.
Well, that's mighty fine.
But I don't think he will. And I don't think we'll get a penny of the money back. He's taken it and cleared out. We won't hear of him again until he's spent it.
Yes, Judy?
Jerry found Wendy Smith.
What's that?
Where is he?
In the reception room.
Well, send him in.
All right.
Let me talk to him first, Clem. Hello, Wendy. Close the door, will you?
Yes, sir. Jerry Turner said you were looking for me, Doctor. Howdy, Mr. Dukes.
Good morning.
Wendy, where did you get that $3.50 you paid me last night?
Why, I sort of been saving that up.
You didn't, borrow a little money from Mr. Duke's store, did you?
Borrow money? Why, Dr. Christian, the Smiths never borrow. No, sirree. We've always gone on our own, asking favors from neither friend nor foe.
Yes, I know, Wendy, but,
Did you take any money out of the cash register?
Why, no, sir.
I expected he'd deny it.
Did you know, Wendy, that Mr. Duke's store was robbed last night?
Well, sir, now that you mention it, I do.
What?
You knew it?
That is a sort of suspicioned it. Because last night, as I was passing the store, a high-powered automobile drew up to the curb, and 2 gangsters jumped out.
Gangsters?
Yep. Well, sir, they started to blow open the front door. And as I say, that looked pretty suspicious.
Now, Wendy.
So I says to 'em, I says, what are you guys doing? And they says to me, what's it to you? And the fight's on. They rush me. I whips out my 6-shooter.
6-shooter?
5-shooter. I whips out my 5-shooter.
You haven't got a revolver.
Yes, but the gangsters didn't know that. They rush me. We struggle back and forth. I knock one out. I knock another one out. I knock another one out.
Wait a minute. You said 2 gangsters got out of the car.
Well, the third fellow wasn't a gangster. He just come for the ride.
Wendy, I want the truth.
But I'm telling you.
And I'm tired of listening to told stories. Sick and tired of it. I'm trying to keep you from going to jail.
Where's that $22?
What $22?
$22 for taking out of Clem's cash register last night. And you're the only person who has a key to the store.
Why, Dr. Christian, I don't know what you're talking about.
No use. He's just no account. You'll never get the truth out of him.
No, well, I'll get the truth, and I'll find out what became of that $22. You just wait.
We will continue this chapter in the life of Dr. Paul Christian as played by Jean Hersholdt in just a moment.
So have you figured out who Wendy is? March 27th, 1938, Dr. Christian on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. You know, I've told y'all how much my feet hurt from time to time, and I've also told you how much I enjoy getting to work because right here under my desk I have a pair of my slippers, Mike Lindell's new invention with patented fill, the My Pillow fill that, he works in the pillow so well, comfort memory foam, patented impact gel, and it has an indoor-outdoor sole for all-day use. Right now, they are on sale. If you go to mypillow.com, click on the radio listener square, you will see My Pillow slippers at 50% off, but only for a limited time. Plus, you'll get Mike's softcover book, What Are the Odds? From Crack Addict to CEO. Go to mypillow.com, click on the radio listener square, use my promo code USA, or call 1-800-951-8175. Use my promo code USA. Savings on overstock items, too, at mypillow.com. Thanks for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater on your favorite station. So does Wendy sound familiar to you, too? I'll tell you who I think it is when we get done with this show, but now let's get back to Dr. Christian, the story of Wendy and the Truth Pills, March 27th, 1938.
We return to River's End now to continue the story of Dr. Christian and Wendy Smith, the town liar. As the scene opens, we find Dr. Christian and Roy Davis, the druggist, in the doctor's car, drawing up in front of Wendy Smith's house.
Well, there we are. Want to come in with me, Roy?
To ask Stella Smith whether Wendy has stolen some money? I should say not. I had an argument with her once, and once is enough.
Then you're safe. Lightning never strikes twice at the same place.
It doesn't have to. You go ahead. I'll wait here. And catch you when you come out.
Well, Dr. Christian.
Good morning, Stella. I haven't seen you for quite a while. I thought I'd stop and say hello.
Well, come in. Here, let me take your safe.
Oh, don't bother. I can only stay a few minutes. Is Wendy, Wallace around?
No, I'm sorry. He went out someplace early this morning.
Stella, I'd like to ask you, sort of a personal question, if you don't mind.
Yeah? What is it?
Well, this sounds kind of funny, but has Wallace turned over any money to you recently?
That is a funny question.
Well, you see, Stella, there's been a little mix-up.
Oh, there has.
Some money is missing from Clem Duke's cash register, and he's worried about it.
Isn't that too bad?
No, Clem doesn't want to make any trouble, of course. In fact, he has only the greatest sympathy.
Oh, he has he? Well, you can go back and tell that pretty self-satisfied little runt that I don't need his sympathy. You can tell him...
Wait a minute, Stella, wait a minute. He doesn't mean it that way.
I know how he means it. I know how the whole town means it. They think because I married Wally Smith, they should be sorry for me.
Now, Stella...
Well, they'd better be sorry for themselves. They better take a look around into their own drab, insignificant lives. Little ant people, crawling around on the ground, bloated with their own importance.
Stella, if you'll only...
Nice, smug, respectable little folk. Respectable because they haven't the courage or imagination to be otherwise. Oh, I know. They hate Wallace. They hate him because he's different from them. Because he's better than they are, and they know it.
Stella, listen,
Wallace never hurt anyone, or anything. He's gentle and kind and generous. Why, he can go out into the woods and call the birds and they'll come to him. And he didn't take that money because money means nothing to him. He doesn't worship money like they do.
All right, Stella, all right. I only wanted to find out.
Well, now you know. Let's stop talking about it. I might lose my temper.
You might lose... well, I wouldn't want to be wrong when that happened. Roy Davis is waiting for me in the car. Guess I better be going.
Well, drop in again soon, Dr. Christian.
Yes. Thanks, Stella. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Dr. Christian.
Well, I see you got out alive. What did you find out?
Well, it's 50-50.
How do you mean?
Clem says Wendy took the money and Stella says he didn't.
Well, that won't keep Wendy from going to jail.
No. If we could only find out what Wendy did with that money. Only get him to tell the truth. Wait a minute. Roy, I've got an idea. Yes, sir. I've got an idea.
keep you sitting here in the office so long, Mr. Smith, but I'm sure Dr. Christian will be back any minute.
Oh, that's all right. Don't mind it at all. Had a job one time as a sitter. A bung sitter.
A bung sitter? Well, what on earth is a bung sitter?
Well, sir, now that's a mighty intricate job. Takes an expert to do it. I don't suppose there's more than half a dozen bung sitters in the world.
But what do you do?
Ever been in Portland?
Portland, Oregon, or Portland, Maine?
Either one, whichever's handiest.
Well, I've been in Portland, Maine.
Well, I worked as a bung sitter in Portland, Oregon.
Oh.
What time's it getting to be?
Well, it's 10 minutes after 5. But what about that job? What did you do?
Oh, yes.
Not going to keep you in suspense anymore. I think that Wendy is Earl Ross, the fellow who played Judge Hooker on The Great Gildersleeve, but there are no authoritative cast lists for these shows. March 27th, 1938, Jean Hersholdt as Dr. Christian on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Did you ever go outside after a thunderstorm and you smell that fresh air? That's because the rain and the lightning and all that just washes all the yuck out of the air. And I don't care where you are. I mean, even up here in the mountains of northern Nevada, we have basically nice air all the time. But it's so much cleaner after a thunderstorm. And I'd like to have you get a thunderstorm for your home. Yeah, the Eden Pure Thunderstorm Air Purifier. It uses proven oxy technology. It quickly destroys viruses, odors, mold, the whole 9 yards. Now, here's the great thing about it. It's teeny tiny, just a little larger than a paperback book. It doesn't take any shelf space. All you do is you plug it straight into the wall, or you can take it with you in the car on trips. It has a little adapter on it that you can plug it into your cigarette lighter. It's real easy to use. If you have problems with litter boxes, I love my cats, but it stinks sometimes. Also, cigarette smoke, smokers, this cleans it out of the air. This doesn't just cover it up like sprays. It actually removes it from the air. It cleans it out. And like I said, no filters. And you can get a 3-pack, so you can put one in every room of the house, especially, that room that always stinks. You can plug it in there, and you get all 3 units for under $200. That's a fraction of the cost compared to other purifiers that go over $600. Put it wherever you need fresh air. I've got one in the office. I've got one in the studio. I've got them everywhere. Go to EdenPureDeals.com. That's EdenPureDeals.com. Put in my promo code CLASSIC3. You'll save over $200. EdenPureDeals.com. Promo code CLASSIC3. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of Dr. Christian and the story of Wendy and the Truth Pills. We think Wendy is Earl Ross, who played Judge Hooker on The Great Gildersleeve. Not sure, but listen, see if you think so. March 27th, 1938.
Well, up in Portland, there's a factory that makes barrels. Now, before they put the top and bottom on, they lay the barrels out in the yard to season. You see, the barrel is open at both ends. You say you never been in Portland, Oregon?
No, I haven't.
Well, sir, it rains mighty hard up there. Yes, sirree, mighty hard. In fact, it rains so hard into the bungholes of those barrels that the water can't run out the ends fast enough, and the barrels bust.
Oh, now listen.
So I had a job sitting on the bungholes to keep the rain out.
Oh, if you expect me to believe... you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Dr. Christian's office? Oh, no, he hasn't come back yet, but I'm expect... Wait, he just came in. Roy Davis.
Hello, Roy. Yes, come on over and bring those pills. Yes, Wendy's waiting here in my office.
Evening, Doctor. Oh, so you're here.
Yes, sir. Dr. Christian sent for me.
Yes, Clem, I thought I'd have another talk with Wendy. Anything I can do for you?
No, I was simply passing by and stopped in. But you're wasting time with this loafer. You'll never get the truth out of him in 1,000 years.
Well, now, Clem, I have a little idea, and I think it might work.
What became of that $22?
Well, sir, I've been trying to figure that out myself. Now, it might be that the store is haunted. And then, of course...
Now, you see, you'll never tell the truth. And I'm going to expose him tomorrow as a thief. Expose him to the whole town.
Hello, Roy. Got the pills?
Yep, right here, Doc.
That's fine. You might as well stay and see this, too, Clem.
Why?
Well, I have a little experiment. I have some new kind of pills, and I'd like to try them on as many people as possible. Here, try one, Judy.
Wait, what do you think I am, a guinea pig?
Oh, they're quite harmless. Want to find out what you think of the taste? Go ahead, take one. It won't hurt you.
Well, all right.
How does it taste?
Kind of sweet.
Roy?
Thanks. Yes, I'd say it tastes sweet.
Clem, go ahead and try one.
Don't seem to be much taste to it.
Wendy?
Thank you, Doctor. Hope this does me some good.
So do I. I had Roy make up those pills for me because I had an idea. If they work, it'll be quite a discovery. I called them truth pills.
Truth pills?
Yes, you've heard about certain drugs making people tell the truth, haven't you?
Well,
And if these work, a person will come right out with the truth. Nothing can stop it.
You don't say.
You hear that, Wendy? He might want to lie, but he simply can't. He'll tell the truth. The whole truth and...
Dr. Christian, oh, I feel so funny.
Why, Judy.
Dr. Christian, I've just got to tell you. I was late to the office 3 times this week.
It's working.
And lots of times I loaf on the job and do nothing but think about Jerry Turner.
Oh, Doc, I've got something to confess.
Good heavens. It's working on Roy, too.
I cheated you, Doc. I said I won a game of checkers when I didn't. I cheated. Where am I?
Now, Wendy, you see how it is? And when that pill starts working on you...
Wait! It's got me. I've got to tell you.
Clem?
Wendy didn't take that money. I took it.
What?
I had it in my pocket when I left the store and went to the lodge meeting. And then I got into a little game of poker with the boys.
Mr. Dukes.
And I lost it. Lost it playing poker.
Oh.
Well, you know how my wife is, Dr. Christian.
But...
She'd give me heck if she found it out, so I...
Mr. Dukes, this is all a joke. A joke to trick Wendy.
Yes, those pills contain nothing but sugar.
Oh, my conscience.
Yes. It's about time your conscience began getting on the job.
You simply imagined the pill worked.
Well, I guess my experiment is a success after all. So you accused Wendy of stealing the money, I suppose you figured nobody would believe its denial anyway.
I had to do something. Oh, you folks won't tell anybody, will you? If you do, it'll ruin me. Disgrace me.
You didn't hesitate to disgrace Wendy.
I know, but I was desperate. I had to tell my wife the money was gone that very night. I didn't have time to think. If you'll only keep quiet...
Well, it isn't any of our business, Clem. You'd better take it up with Wendy.
Yes, how are you going to clear him?
Oh, Wendy, I'm sorry. I knew you didn't take the money,
Why, of course I didn't take it. And I'll tell you exactly what happened. That money was stolen by bandits. Saw 'em sneaking out the back way as I went in the front. Couldn't tell who they was because they wore masks. Well, sir, I reached for my gun.
Oh, now, Wendy, do you think we believe that?
Never mind, Judy, never mind. That's as good an explanation as any. And we'll have to believe it. Don't forget, Wendy just swallowed the truth pill.
Next week, Jean Hersholdt, who appears on this program through the courtesy of 20th Century Fox, will be back with another chapter in the life of the beloved Dr. Christian of River's End. This is Art Gilmore bidding you good afternoon for the makers of Vaseline Preparation. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
March 27th, 1938, Dr. Christian on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
It's a big, bold story set in the heartland of America, along the edge of Lonely Mountain. I am open for business. And so Big William Gorgon, played by handsome Michael James, fiercely set down his Midwest roots.
Oh, darling, we're going to sell bathrobes and raise chickens.
Set his adoring wife, Wilhelmina, portrayed by beautiful Glenda Olsen.
Oh, I love our store, Will.
But they hadn't counted on Big Ralph's bathrobes and cattle store coming to town.
Oh, Will, we do, Will?
Will had a plan, a way of facing off against tough Big Ralph. We're going to change the face of America. We're going to advertise.
Adver what?
With print, broadcasting, and bus benches, we're going to tell people who we are and where we are.
What's a bus?
And so the story of how one man brought advertising to the heartland.
Oh, will it work?
It will. Well, my name ain't Will, Philomena. We got to advertise or we'll die. And so the greatest marketing story of all time is here. Advertise or Die, Dopey. Brought to you by Adweek Magazine, the Radio Advertising Bureau, this radio station on the famous Radio Ranch.
Put your message on this national advertising platform. Email classicradiotheater@gmail.com. classicradiotheater@gmail.com. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, Part 2 of the 5-part Yours Truly Johnny Dollar story, The Lamarr Matter. This was originally broadcast March 27th, 1956.
From Hollywood, it's time now for...
Johnny Dollar.
I have your party in Hartford, Connecticut now, Mr. Dollar.
Oh, thanks.
Just a moment, please.
Hello, McCracken, Universal Adjustment Bureau.
Hi, Pat.
Johnny, are you still in La Jolla? Didn't you get my telegram?
Sure did, and I'm getting ready to leave for South Bend right now. In the company of a beautiful, charming, lovely...
Now, look, son, your vacation is over.
Charming, lovely girl named Vonnie Lamarr.
Okay. Now, will you... What?
That's right. Thomas Rene Lamar's daughter.
Does she know her father has died?
Telegram for her arrived at the same time I received yours.
You didn't show her my wire.
No. She doesn't know yet that you think it might be murder.
Tonight and every weekday night, Bob Bailey in the transcribed adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to the Universal Adjustment Bureau, Hartford, Connecticut. Attention, Mr. Patrick McCracken. Following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the Lamarr Matter. Or was it murder? Expense account item 1. I'm calling it item 1, Pat, because it's really the first tab on the Lamarr case. Previous expenses here in La Jolla were charged against the Jolly Roger case. Expenses for the vacation you promised me and have now so rudely interrupted. Item 1, $9.60 for that long-distance call to Pat McCracken in Hartford.
Now, what under the sun is Vonnie Lamarr doing in La Jolla?
Vacation? Same as I was trying to take. Now, tell me something, Pat. Has a claim already been filed on Lamar's $1.5 million policy?
No claim has been filed.
Well, then how'd you know about his death so quickly?
Luck, pure and simple. Insurance company is Tri-Mutual. Big office in Chicago, headed up by Lawrence Comstock.
Oh, sure. Known him for years. Good man.
Well, he's written all of Lamar's policies himself. He got to know the old man pretty well.
Uh-huh.
Personal friends, you know. Weekend golf together, same clubs, and both nuts about two-handed pinochle.
So?
Well, Comstock had been Lamar's house guest the past few days, and been with him practically every minute the old man wasn't at his plant.
Was he actually there when Lamarr died?
Yes. He was the one who called the doctor when the old man keeled over.
Look, you keep referring to him as the old man. Just how old was he?
Oh, not too. Let me see. I've got it. He was 59.
The doctor's name on her telegram was Wilson. You know his first name?
No, I don't know. That's stuff you'll have to get from Comstock then, South Bend.
Okay.
Well, at any rate, Johnny, he called me the minute the doctor pronounced Lamarr dead, and specifically asked that you be put on the case.
Yeah, well, that's flattering. Okay, it looks like I am, but tell me something.
Yeah?
What makes Larry think the man was murdered?
I'd rather not discuss it now. He'll give it to you when you see him.
Our plane leaves in about an hour.
No doubt you can be of some comfort to the daughter. Her knowing that you're handling the case.
Pat, that's the one thing I don't want her to know. I hung up, leaving Pat to ponder over that last remark. Wired Larry Comstock that I was coming and finished my packing for the trip back east. When I'd finished, I paid my bill at the fancy motel. And all I can say is, thank goodness it was on expense account. And I knocked on the door of the cottage next to mine.
Yes, come in. Oh, Johnny.
Hi, Vonnie. Any way I can help you?
More than you have. You've been wonderful. Arranging the flight back for me.
For us.
Taking care of the things here. Johnny.
That's right, for us. I'm making the trip with you.
But I thought you said Hartford, Connecticut. And your vacation.
Oh, the vacation's all over. Wouldn't be any fun for me to stay around after this.
Oh, darling.
And South Bend is along the way. I'd feel better if I kind of took you home rather than let you make the long trip alone. under the circumstances. Maybe I have some business or something to attend to there.
Darling, I don't know what...
Easy, honey.
Oh, you made it so wonderful. When Daddy couldn't get here these last few days, and now that this terrible thing has happened, you stick by me this way.
It's the only way I'd have it.
You're so wonderful.
All right. Come on now. Come on, get your things together. I've called for a cab to the airport in San Diego. Come on, Mom.
Oh, thank you, Johnny. I love you for this.
Sure. I can't say I exactly relish thoughts of the flight back east. Much as I hoped I could be of some small comfort to the girl. Much as I genuinely wanted to. Such things can be pretty rough. Particularly in this instance. But I am an insurance investigator. And in a matter of this sort, $1.5 million at stake, the possibility of murder... Well, it's up to me to suspect everyone, whether I like it or not. Yeah, I sometimes think it's a pretty rotten racket to be in.
Johnny.
Sleep, honey. Sleep. You'll need all of it you can get before you have to face things at home.
I wasn't sleeping. I was just thinking. And being so thankful that you're here with me.
Honey, I wired ahead for a hotel reservation.
What?
Yup. I'm going to stay in South Bend a few days.
You wonderful, wonderful...
No, I'm going to be honest with you. I also wired a friend of mine, a fellow with whom I do business now and then. So well, anyhow, I'll be there for a few days and maybe more, and as long as I can be of any help to you.
It's funny.
You
know, you still haven't told me what you do.
Well, don't worry about that now.
But I'm curious. Tell me. It'll give us something to talk about.
Did you wire anyone at your home about your arrival?
Yes, Harrison the butler. Johnny.
Well, how about the doctor who telegraphed you?
Yes, Dr. Wilson, too. Honey.
Wilson.
Edward T. Wilson. Now tell me.
No. Now, you stop talking and try to get some rest.
But all...
I'm going back to the lounge in the tail section so that you'll have nothing to do but get some sleep.
Then you won't tell me.
No. Tomorrow. Sleep.
Thank you, Johnny. Now, I can, maybe.
Yeah, rough. Very rough. I felt like a traitor to her. Well, we landed in Chicago at 10 a.m. and took a cab from the airport to the Lamarr home on the outskirts of South Bend. I'd never before realized that the big industrial city with all its huge, dirty, sprawling factories had such a wealthy residential section. And the Lamarr home on Parody Lane was one of the most impressive of all, set far back in what must have been an acre of well-kept lawn. In addition to Harrison, the butler, we were met at the door with a housekeeper, cook, upstairs and downstairs, maids, and a couple of other servants. All of them obviously in deep sorrow over the passing of the master of the house.
And may I most humbly for all of us express our deepest sympathy in this hour of this...
It's all... Thank you, Harrison. Thank you all. I'm going to my room and we'll call you when...
Yes, miss?
This is Mr. Dollar.
Mr. Dollar.
He's to be admitted to the house. Any time.
I'll be here, Vonnie, as soon as possible. And you know where to reach me.
Yes, Johnny. Thank you.
And now to get to work, whether I liked it or not. I took the cab to the townhouse, dumped my bags, then back to Chicago in the office of Lawrence Comstock, Tri-Mutual's representative. He was waiting for me.
Well, Johnny, you sure walked into something this time.
Thick one, Larry?
You don't know. You don't know the half of it. The $1.5 million of it.
You gave Pat McCracken back in Hartford the idea that Lamar's death might be murder.
I think it is. I really think it is, Johnny.
Why?
Tom Lamarr was one of the best friends I ever had.
You should have been. Your commission on the insurance he was carrying was enough to set you up for life.
Oh, no, Johnny, don't talk like that. Tom was a good friend of mine, quite aside from business. I sold him his very first policy years ago, and he was just a bookkeeper for Atlas Processing Company, earning $70 a week. And when he married Delise...
Delise?
That's his wife, who died 5 years ago.
Oh.
That policy was only for $2,500, straight life.
So?
Well, you know how little my commission was on that. But I liked him. I saw that he had a spark about him, that with the proper kind of encouragement, he could go places. And he did.
Yeah, so I understand. I understand the Lamarr Metal products is a really big thing.
General Metal Fabricators just bought them out.
Oh?
Yes, and Tom was getting all ready to retire.
spend the rest of his days having fun, golf, fishing, winters in California, and summers in Minnesota, that sort of thing. And taking care of Vonnie, his adopted daughter.
Yeah. Kind of worth taking care of, too.
Eh?
I know her, Larry. Met her in La Jolla, California.
Oh, then you...
Brought her back here to face the sad fact of her father's death.
Why, I didn't... Oh, yes, of course. The family doctor, Ed Wilson. I should have realized. He sent a telegram to Vonnie to the same place you were, in La Jolla. She's a wonderful girl, John.
You're telling me. But, Larry...
Yes?
Something you told Pat McCracken back in Hartford has led him to think that possibly Thomas Lamarr was murdered.
Johnny, in the years I've known Tom Lamarr...
Yeah?
I've not only known him, but I've known his family.
Well?
And much of his affairs, personal as well as business.
Well?
His wife, Delise. I would have married her long ago if I'd been able.
Oh, get to the point, Larry.
Oh, yes, of course. And his daughter, Vonnie. I wish she'd been my daughter, my child.
Come on, Larry, come on, get at it.
She's a wonderful girl.
You said that.
Oh, yes, of course. Well, there were things in her past, Vonnie's past, that even her mother and later her father didn't know about. But I did.
For heaven's sake, man, get to the point.
You too?
Yes, me too. Yeah, me. The confirmed bachelor. Take him or leave him. Have fun. Forget him. Make a big... Come on, Larry.
Listen, Johnny. Now listen carefully. Dr. E.T. Wilson, Ed Wilson, an old friend of mine as well as Tom.
Yes?
It was Ed who made the last insurance examination 4 months ago. Thomas Rene Lamarr was in better health than you are. After all, he was only 59, and he'd lived a careful life, taking good care of himself.
Well, go on.
We were sure of his physical condition, sure of it. That's why I let him add to his already large policy.
Larry, you've told Pat McCracken, and you've admitted to me that you think Thomas Lamarr was murdered.
Yes, John. Because of one man.
Who?
The one man who shared his confidences, business and personal.
Yeah?
Who was closer to him than even Ed Wilson or me.
Well, who?
One man who alone could be sure of benefiting by Tom Lamar's death.
Oh, look, Larry, that bush you're beating around is getting bigger and bigger.
It's so simple, John, so discouragingly simple.
All right, Larry, all right. Take it any way you like. I'm here for 2 reasons. Because I'm assigned to this case, and because of Vonnie.
Yes, I know.
Now, who is it you suspect?
The man Vonnie is really in love with.
Oh.
I'm sorry, John.
Now, here's our star to tell you about tomorrow's intriguing episode of this week's story.
Tomorrow, some stuff I didn't want to hear, but I had to. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, is transcribed in Hollywood. It is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone, who also wrote tonight's story. Be sure to join us tomorrow night, same time and station, for the next exciting episode of Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Roy Rowan speaking.
God, can't Johnny ever get a break? March 27th, 1956, yours truly, Johnny Dollar on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Hope you will take a moment to thank this radio station and support their advertisers. It is their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every time we roll around here on your favorite station. And, of course, if you miss a day on this station, you can always hear our shows on demand through iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, TuneIn, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcast, or Amazon's Audible app. Just search for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. That's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We also have a web page that is classicradio.stream, where you can stream our shows on demand. Also, learn more about classic radio collecting. You can get all of our social media information there, and you can contact me, classicradio.stream, classicradio.stream. I'm Wyatt Cox. Tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.